Alex, today is your special day, and even though it's legal now to sing the Happy Birthday song, we're still going to sing you a novelty restaurant Happy Birthday song. So here it goes. Let's see if I can see how well I do at this one. Birthday. It's your birthday. It is Alex Wan's birthday today. He is super old now, but that's okay because he's our bro. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast, special birthday edition, special Alex birthday edition of the podcast. Hey, the man himself. As he lives and breathes.
On a Monday.
He's going up on a Monday. Alex, the podcast dropped early this morning, and 29 years ago, you dropped. Out of the womb.
Out of the womb. Actually, Mom sent me a picture probably a week ago. That was the ad, like the receipt for the ad they put in the newspaper to announce my birth. They came across in some random box. So
that's great.
I saw that, so it was kind of interesting.
And you're like, you can throw that out now.
Yeah. No, I was like, you framed that for when I'm famous for whatever variety of reasons. Funny you did the restaurant birthday song because I always had to lead those all the time at Boston Pizza.
What was in your repertoire?
We only had two. Only had
okay. Number one, hit me.
Well, there's a really short one which was happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey, but then there was this other one where it was like someone had to lead and everyone else had to follow. And so anytime you grow up, be like, Alex, I have a birthday at table 50. Can you do your birthday thing? I'm like, okay. So you get up there and you'd be like, I don't know, but I've been told. And everyone's clapping. Someone here is getting old. And then it'd be like, I think it's birthdays come only once a year. So let's give insert name here a birthday cheer. And then everyone cheer. But I come in all like, I don't know, but I mean, really
insert name here is
Eddie Vedder-ish.
Yeah, insert name here is better than their actual name.
That's my...
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking the other day I might do a quiz for the podcast, just randomly, of is this band still together or not?
Oh, sure.
Be simple plan. Are they still a thing or no?
That's good questions.
I'd like to up next week.
I'd like to talk that out to try to figure out why.
Yeah, and just be why and why are they still together, or why did I think they're still together?
Why are they still together
or not?
Alex, is our band still together? On this, our 100th episode, Will is absent, unfortunately.
Oh, this is our 100th episode. Drop it on the birthday.
I think we got to call it... It might be 99... is it 100th episode? Or are we 99.6?
We're at 99.6.
Yeah, although if every episode you're not in counts as 0.6, we might be still in the 80s in terms of,
God, it was the 100th episode.
It's the hundo. So we got to make an extra special...
Where you been, son?
Yeah, this one goes out to Will. I am Vaffin. Will, I am Vaffin. I am Vaffin at you.
Yeah, that's we're gonna have to do a 100th episode next week and just pretend the 101 minus 100. So
yeah, exactly.
Probably one, and there's some crappy ones in the past that we can just be that one didn't count.
We could totally just.
Yeah, it's like the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk type thing. You're just you know what, Hulk didn't count. Now it's Incredible Hulk. It's not Hulk 2. It's not a sequel. We're just doing the same thing over again.
Yeah,
so it'll be like that.
Even though now there's been three theatrical
Hulks.
I almost said Ruffalos. No, just the one Ruffalo.
Yes. Oh, I watched Spotlight. I just remember that because you said Ruffalo.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. See, we have a lot of movies to talk about. Alex saw Spotlight, as you heard. I saw Sicario and I saw Zootopia.
Back to back. Good double feature.
Double feature.
Keeping it on tap.
Yeah. It was 2 nights apart.
Okay.
Or a night apart, not trying to do that whole thing. But yeah, let's I'm trying to think of anything I want to do real quick.
Let's get into it.
Did you see Spider-Man in the Civil War trailer?
No, is he in it?
Yeah, there's the newest trailer they released at the very end of it. They're at the airport, they're gonna fight, and then whoosh, there goes Cap's shield, and whoa, what's on his hands? Is that webbing? And then he's holding the shield and says a funny thing.
Who's playing Spider-Man?
Spooder-Moon.
Who's playing Spooder? Who's playing Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon. That's the next crossover.
It's not Garfield, right?
A guy named Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Are you sure it's not Domhnall Gleeson?
He's straight up 19 years old.
He's been in everything.
Yeah, he's 19. I don't know what he was best known for playing the title role in Billy Elliot the Musical.
Okay.
He looks so young. I guess
he's 19. He's very young.
He's very young.
Oh wow, he does look super young.
Yeah. If you look at his Wikipedia page,
like the older you get, the younger. Like if you went to like university, like an intro class, you'd be like, "These are 8-year-old kids in a university class." This is very odd to me. People are very young looking the older you get.
Yeah, that much is true.
So
anyway,
are
so
they
he's
going
there.
to reboot Spider-Man again?
Yeah, this is it. Because this is Marvel's cinematic Marvel's shot at it.
Okay, so
they have control over it
because obviously I'm an idiot, but Spider-Man's a Marvel character, but something to do with film rights prevented him from showing up in any Marvel Studios films.
Right,
Sony Pictures owned.
They had the rights to it. So they had the movie rights to it. Back when I guess Marvel didn't really even think about Marvel might not have been owned by Disney, so it wouldn't have really been in Marvel's even like the way they were thinking that they'd be like that they could do a movie,
right?
Or that they could do it. So they'd farm it out to Sony. And then
this is also one of this is kind of the one that started it all. Like the Batman movies didn't really... The recent
research. I mean, it's tough because it's like Superman was in the 70s and then for a little bit of the 80s and then there was the Batman's, the original. I guess I didn't
mean superhero movies
in
general,
I know what you mean though because the run on superhero movies kind of started in, what was it, 2002 when it came out? Summer 2002?
Yeah, that sounds right. This all came out 2003.
Yeah, and because one of the first trailers for Spider-Man was the World Trade Center trailer. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a bank robbery that was foiled by webbing between the World Trade Center.
Right, yes.
Which is crazy to think about now. It's like so weird that even happened.
Yeah.
The trailer and September 11th. So weird that it happened. So then Marvel is the modern kind of thing, and I think people kind of started seeing, oh, okay, Marvel knows what they're doing. I'm not sure. I think it's just because Sony was just
plus Marvel's like, oh, these make like $3 billion. I think we can take a stab.
So they get the. I don't know if Sony gets a cut of anything Spider-Man's in now still, or if it's just all done.
Okay,
they might have just bought him out.
See, now I'm worried about I'm already worried about Batman versus Superman because it's like, oh, Wonder Woman and Aquaman and blah 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 are in it, and then it's like, it's this big one with the Winter Soldier and Falcon and Iron Man and Captain America, and then it's like, and Spider-Man's in it too. You're like, oh boy, and
Black Panther, right? It's all I always worry about the new ones they have to introduce with each of these huge movies.
Who's playing Black Panther?
I don't remember the gentleman's name.
It's not Idris Elba.
No, because Idris Elba's already in the Marvel universe as Thor's buddy.
Oh,
right. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I just finished rewatching Avengers: Age of Ultron, a movie I wasn't too hot on when it came out.
Me
neither. When I watched it just now, I actually liked it a lot more.
Okay, I'll rewatch it then. A little quippy. It was a little quippy.
Oh, okay,
I think we both had that same opinion, which is
and not as bad. So a guy named Chadwick Boseman. I don't know if you know who that is. Chadwick Boseman was in 42
son
Draft Day. No,
okay.
no. But actually, so there's going to be a Black Panther movie.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is
called The Jungle Book,
but attached is as director is Ryan Coogler.
Ooh,
Good
my
for him,
boy.
right?
That is very fitting. It's going to be interesting to see if Coogler just becomes like the Spike Lee. It's like, well, I mean, we have a black lead, so Coogler, I guess you're in on this.
Coogler, I guess you're going for it. Hey, there's worse ways to make a living.
It's a good progression, though, like Fruitvale Station to taking over the Rocky franchise. To
you do your indie movie,
you
can do a big studio movie, and then you get a comic book movie payday.
That's the
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson is who I was going to say.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you do your Brick. You do your Looper, and then you get that. I think there's something in between Brick and Looper.
Brothers Bloom or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just pretend that one didn't happen.
Yeah, but anyway, but good for them. Good for those young directors and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. So Spider-Man was in the Civil War trailer. It was very good. Also in this movie is Mark Ruffalo, who was in Spotlight. Alex saw Spotlight.
I did see Spotlight.
What did you think of the movie?
I mean, It was really good. The subject matter is obviously like
tough,
what it is.
Yeah.
So the last two movies I've been like, you know what? I've had a long week. Like I don't try to watch like a lot of movies like through the week or like a lot of TV, but like my Friday nights are like, you know, I had a good week. Let's watch a movie. So 2 weeks ago it was Room. This last weekend it was Spotlight, and I think I'm gonna go with something a little bit more cheery. The next time around.
Those are homework movies.
Yeah.
Those are
Those
oatmeal.
are hard. So I mean, everyone's really good in Spotlight. Everyone's really, really good in Spotlight.
Yeah.
There's one point. Like it's in any of those procedural movies, you're like, wait, do I know what's happening? Do I not? Like the guy's like looking through a list of priests, and he comes across one, and he like runs out his house and like down the street. I'm like, what does he do? Like, am I supposed to know it? And then you're like, okay. But like, there's points in like a procedural, and even like a lot of things I watch, like Game of Thrones. I'm like, is this something I know already, or is it exposition that like nobody knew? Is this coming out of left field? There's a lot of names right now. A lot of names happening. And the name Cardinal Law threw me off because, like, is it Cardinal Law or his name's Cardinal Law, or is like Cardinal Law like a Catholic church thing? Yeah. So the first couple times he said it, I was like, I get it. A lot of random people in it who I'm always like. I'm a big Stanley Tucci. I mean, he makes everything better. He makes everything better. Not like it needed to be better, but he's just a solid actor.
Oh, for sure.
Like Julie and Julia or whatever it's called. Fantastic. And then my boy Billy C showing up was good.
Remind me who your boy Billy C is?
Crudup. Billy Crudup. Big Fish.
Oh, gosh. Famous. I forgot. I'll be honest. I didn't know Crud's your dude.
He's not,
I do like
really.
Crud.
I like him.
Though.
He probably best known for being the voiceover for the MasterCard commercials back in the day.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I love it. Else, there's MasterCard.
It's funny if you're watching Mission Impossible 3. There's a switch in it where you're supposed to think.
Oh right, he's in Mission Impossible.
I forgot what's the name of the gentleman? There's one guy who's
definitely not going to know the answer. I did not like Mission
okay.
Impossible 3 at all.
Ooh, I like it. I still like it. But anyway, like the director of the Impossible Mission Force, the stupidly named thing, is supposed to be the bad guy, and Billy Crudup's like his second in command. Okay, and you're like, and as the movie goes on, it turns out Crudup's the bad guy, and you're like, like, yeah, well, like of course he is.
Yeah,
of course he's the bad guy. There's no like, this is
like
so
Guy
stupid.
Pearce in Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
spoiler alert.
Spoiler for Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's still a nice guy at the beginning of that movie. That's fair.
That's true. He's never a nice person. He's just a geek, and you're like, well, obviously that's going to end up poorly for everyone involved.
Yeah.
How do you not see this? And Spotlight.
With Spotlight, so it's funny because you know the Spotlight team,
yes.
and you're like, boom, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Boom, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Boom, Mark Ruffalo.
Boom.
And
some random 46-year-old
some other
man.
guy. You're just like, he could be a friend of my dad's. He could be a coworker.
Seriously, Liev Schreiber gonna make an app where he just reads bedtime stories. He's got the best voice. He does the 24/7 voiceovers for like the NHL and the boxing stuff on HBO. Yeah, which is fantastic. It's like almost too good. It's like distracting, almost, because he's like, well, I mean, should we run the story or what do you guys? And you're like, okay, are you really a newspaper editor, or should you just be voicing over everything?
Do you think? How much of that is this is the bet? I mean, this would be great to have Ian Allen on the show, a guy who's known for voice acting,
yes.
A guy who does that. How much of that, his measured performance, how much of that is work, and how much of it is just waking up in the morning and speaking?
Well, it is funny because if you like hear him talk, he doesn't sound like his voiceover in 24/7. Like there's definitely some putting on airs, but he puts them on so well, and it's not like anything where it's like in the city, there is one man who comes every year. It's Santa Claus. I don't know why I came up with that. That was
I like that.
In the city, course, Santa Claus comes once a year. But
boxing, Santa Claus is always there, ready to glove people over. Yeah, Liev Schreiber's good, and it's quite a different character for him too.
It is
very reserved. Very good.
It's kind of funny how it's just like, here comes this Jewish editor from Miami, and all of a sudden he's like uncovering this big Catholic Church scandal. You're like, okay, well, I don't know if that's really the reason it happened. I guess it's more correlational than causal, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but I kind of
Googled the character he played in the movie, and it's like, is Marty Baron the best newspaper editor of all time? And you're like, I mean, arguably he's very good at finding stories. Because, I mean, if you get beyond what the story is and just look at the procedure of reporting on the story when you go to it and how you can build upon it. Because the point of the movie is there's been reports of this before. It's not out of thin air that there's been abuse to the kids. But you don't know how high it goes and like how systemic it is, for lack of a better term. And that's what it's about. It's not uncovering 6 priests in Boston. It's kind of uncovering the whole cover-up throughout the church. And like when you go to it, and if someone else scoops you, it undercuts the whole story. And like it's this weird waiting game.
You really have to – it was really a thing of like they have to get everything. They have to tear it all out at once.
Yes.
Or else you don't get to the root of the problem.
Exactly. And it's very hard to get there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. I liked that there was some conflict with the characters too, just because like pretty much everybody on that team, was Catholic and struggled with this, and all very different like people who were very have been to church since they were kids, and people who are kind of still struggling with the grandma.
Yeah, you call it like survivor guilt almost. Like, why did I grew up in the church, and why did this happen to other people, not happen to me, or how was I not aware of it even being in that position?
Does that straight up come up at one point? Is that verbalized by someone? I'm trying to remember.
Ruffalo was like yelling it when he yells. He's like, could have been any of us.
Yeah, that's his Oscar moment.
Which I don't like. I don't like that part at all. Yeah. He's like, you're kind of watching Ruffalo in that movie, and you're like, he's being weird. I'm like, right, he's playing like he's always still like Mark Ruffalo, but I think he plays that character very well. And I guess whoever Michael Keaton played said it was like looking in a mirror type thing. Like he thought he played it very well.
Wouldn't it be great if you or someone and Michael Keaton played you and you're like, that's me in a mirror, man?
Yeah,
I'd take that. Keaton's. I'm also so glad Keaton got to be in this one again too, because it's just like the guy is.
He's the best.
He's the best. I remember listening to he did a WTF interview with Mark Maron a couple years ago.
It's so good.
It's really good,
so
and it's
good.
like it's before Birdman.
Yeah,
it's before Spotlight.
Yeah,
and it's just like you're like, yeah, I wish this guy was in more things, and then you got what you wanted. Like
I think I made the point on the podcast. Like Michael Keaton might be my favorite actor. Like he's
sure.
just like in everything he's so good.
He's so good. We could definitely do the Keaton cast. People do that. There's a podcast out there. It's called. I'm going to get this wrong, but I think it's like Denzel Washington is the best actor today, period. And so it's just two guys who go through. I know. Alex is shaking his head, but they go through every Denzel Washington movie and talk about it. Anyway, we could do a Keaton one. I don't know if we can get past multiplicity.
Denzel cast Deja Vu. Oh boy! All right.
Yeah, but I don't know what else I was going to say about Spotlight, but good. Best picture worthy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, especially for this year, I think it was probably the best one. It's not amazing, but it's really, 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 really good.
If you looked at if you did a bar chart of the goodness of the movies that were out this year, I think there's a little bit of variation in there, but it's all pretty close.
Like Mad Max is never going to win Best Picture just by being nominated. It was not going to win Best Picture.
Right. And that's kind of a throwing a bone. It's like the Dark Knight kind of thing.
There's very little storyline in that movie. It's just
that's almost the best part.
Beautiful insanity.
It's so good that it's just like you don't need to have a twisty, windy story for it to be.
Yeah,
it's just straightforward, amazing cinematic thing. I think
apocalyptic.
Movies that make you feel things. That's a great metric of it, right? Mad Max made me feel like driving 300 kilometers an hour down Quinpool Road.
That's what I was. Well, I mean, it's good there because there's like not a lot of traffic, so you can go as fast as you want.
There's some lights, but you can make it work.
Yeah, I'm not Quinpool. I meant the Outback where they actually are.
Right. Oh, that's what you meant. Quinpool. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. Spotlight makes you feel bad. Also.
Yeah. It's not a feel good movie. There's just like did you see Room?
I did not see Room.
Okay. Also, not like a super feel good movie.
I was texting a friend after I saw Spotlight, and I was like, "Is that the first movie where September 11th is just kind of annoying?"
The backdrop, yeah,
it's just annoying. It's like, oh, damn it, September 11th happened. That's the first movie I've seen where that just happened. Someone else was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that would happen." Of course.
And then you're like, "But that's actually what happened." They were trying to uncover this whole thing, and you don't want to put that out and have it be, thrown under the cover because of something other huge news that happened.
Imagine being
if you're just looking at it from a purely unobjective, like reporting perspective,
right? Imagine being the people who are on that Spotlight team who are like dealing with just this dark humanity of abuse, and then September 11th happens, and you're like, could things get worse? Like, really?
Yeah, you're like, life has completely changed in the last 2 months to the point where I don't know what reality is anymore.
Yeah.
Of the people who are portrayed in that movie, I think Mark Ruffalo's character is actually still on that team at the Globe.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So. But no one else's, which is not unsurprising. You see anyone in print media, you're wondering what they're up to nowadays, because a lot fewer people are in there than before.
Crazy thing about that movie too is if you ever listen to Bill Simmons talk about it on his podcast, he just knows those people just as like people he knows because they're from Boston.
Yeah.
So he just talks to him and he's like, I think Ruffalo got whatever the guy's first name was. I thought he got him pretty good, and it's like
Peter.
Kind of crazy to be like to have that kind of proximity to that and be like, the people who are the basis of characters in a movie that was the best picture.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah,
like, that's
I'm
crazy,
reporting
right?
on one of the biggest stories.
Of our time in his city ever, for sure.
Certainly in and
that's
city of Boston, and then like the progression on that. It's a good movie. You should check it out. I know it's hard to be like, hey, the movie that won Best Picture, pretty good. I don't like to. Maybe,
you don't need to
maybe a controversial stance on this, but it's good. Speaking of movies that aren't good, and I know you saw 2 movies, so we'll talk about that. I just want to mention. I've never seen it before, but I was hanging out with my buddy Matt on Saturday, and X-Men Origins Wolverine was on. Oh my god, it's bad. It is. First of all, it's not aged well, but I never saw it in
2009, I think.
So you saw it. Have you seen it?
I own it. Yeah.
You own it?
Sure. Yeah.
Why?
Why do I own it? It was probably $4 at a closing Blockbuster, if I had to guess.
Even over and above how poor. First of all, Will.i.am is in it and plays an actual character and has to have a Texas accent as that character, which should never happen ever.
He's in a few scenes. Like he's a supporting
he's not
player.
A small character. He's his like kind of sidekick supporting player, I guess, in some scenes, and he cannot act at all. At all whatsoever. Secondly, just over and above the story, which is atrocious, the animation, like the computer graphics in it, are so bad.
What's the worst example you could think of?
He has, after he gets all adamantiumed up, he's in the mirror looking at his claws, and it looks the only thing I could compare it to is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
The claws can be
that's
really,
how
really
bad it is. That's how, and it's 2009. The animation was better than it should have been, or it was worse than it should have been. And then the whole Deadpool thing at the end. It's Ryan Reynolds, but then in the far shots, it's clearly like a much bigger man, and it's really bad. Well, he. Oh god, I know I'm talking about a movie from like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, but when it comes out and you're like, oh, I didn't see this. Why haven't I seen it? And then you watch it, you're like, yeah. That's really, really, really bad.
Yeah, I remember we were walking. My wife and I were walking past a poster for Deadpool yesterday.
Yeah,
and she was like, "So Ryan Reynolds is in that one too." I was like, "Yeah." So she was like, "But doesn't he die at the end of the Wolverine movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, but they kind of just threw that out. Like they kind of just took the Wolverine movie."
The thing, they
just
like, "Oh, that didn't happen."
Yeah, pretty much.
And it in the end credit scenes. His hand does start walking towards his head, and then his eyes open. So he's not dead at the end of Wolverine.
And he goes, "Shh."
Does he say that?
See, there's a few different ends of that movie.
Okay, because his mouth is sewn shut. I don't know.
I know. I think it gets unsewn or something like that. Another great Liev Schreiber movie. That movie has the funny distinction of like it was leaked. Incomplete, like the unfinished movie was leaked to torrent sites in 2009.
Okay,
so like you could have back in the day downloaded a version of that movie that was like the same cut, but all of the like a lot of the animation stuff like that was not done.
And well, good because it probably would have been just as bad that way.
I wonder if they switched.
Like Xavier shows up at the end, and obviously they
de-age
de-age him, and then everyone starts running towards his helicopter. But it's the fakest looking thing ever. It looks so bad. It's like they had to rush it into production or something because of the leak. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if they had to switch like studios or something like that.
I think it
who were making it
a bunch of money the first weekend and then tanked like Hulk style, where everyone's like, "Let's
or
go
it
see
dropped
it,"
off
and
huge.
then it was they're like, "Oh, it's really bad."
It is funny. Like this is during a time like the X-Men.
and that's why I haven't seen First Class, Days of Future Past, the Wolverine origin thing, and I should, but I think because that movie was so bad, even though I just saw it now, that I was just not that interested. But I like Michael Fass.
This is not going to be a huge
just
endorsement.
Like him, so
all of those movies are the ones you haven't seen are all better than the one you just saw.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, so like worldwide, it made $373 million, a production budget of $150 million. So not insane money.
It's a lot of money to make.
It is a lot of money to make. But like the next X-Men or Wolverine movie, I didn't like the ending of it. It didn't sit well with me, so it doesn't make me feel great for the next Wolverine movie that's coming out, because they are making a third.
And then I always have that thing where I didn't really like the original Spider-Mans that much, and then I kind of saw...
Your issue was too many people screaming directly into the camera.
Oh, so bad.
That was Sam Raimi's thing, which I did not even really pick up on as a kid, but if you watch the movies now, it's just people screaming directly into the camera. And he's a horror director. So they're horrified by everything happening.
But then I have this thought where it's, I didn't like that movie. I didn't like Wolverine. I didn't like Spider-Man. Was it a bad? And then I wonder if I just don't like the character in general. Maybe I'm just not a Spider-Man fan. That's very possible. Those people are like, possible. Superman's dumb. I love Spider-Man. I'm like, I kind of go the other way on that.
Dumb. The X-Men First Class, interesting take on it, worthwhile, period piece. Fassbender does a good job. I'm blanking on Professor X.
James
McAvoy does a good job as well. Worth checking out. And then I think Days of Future Past, also pretty decent. Pretty decent. Okay. So I say check it out.
I will. And I've been meaning. It's one of those movies where you don't see it, and then 2 years go by, and I didn't see that. People are like, what? Sorry.
Yeah.
We should get to the movies you've seen. I apologize. Yeah. I have a lot of offshoots, so let's go on.
No problem.
How'd you see Sicario? Is that on Netflix?
It was just online. You can
okay. I just wasn't sure. Yeah. Ex Machina is on, and I thought Sicario was on at one point, but I guess not.
No, it's not. It's not out yet on there. At least
you should still see that Ex
Machina. Yeah. Okay. I've read the script for it.
It makes it sound like, because Will sometimes on this podcast, you're like, well, I read for a part. I read for the
I was being
Alicia Vikander part.
I was being considered to
was
direct
not ultimately cast.
Yeah.
So Sicario. It's a movie that, as far as I know, didn't do very well commercially, but when you talk to anyone who's seen it, they have very complimentary things to say.
That sounds right.
What's your take on it?
Sicario. It's by I think you say his name, Denis Villeneuve. He's the guy who did Prisoners, and I had Prisoners.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Jake
and
Gyllenhaal?
I had Prisoners highly recommended to me.
Yeah.
And I went to see it, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh wow, that movie's really good, really, really good." I liked Prisoners a lot. I thought it was really interesting.
I still didn't 100%. There's a point where Hugh Jackman has to run away, and I still don't entirely understand why that happened. But we can talk about that another time. But that scene where Jake Gyllenhaal's driving and he's bloodied up. Oh my god, that was an intense scene.
Oh, Gyllenhaal, watching that movie, if you want,
Gyllenhaal's the new DiCaprio now. Now that DiCaprio's won an award,
right? Oh yeah,
Jakey G's my boy.
If you're I kind of want to see if Jake Gyllenhaal's my favorite actor, watch Prisoners.
Yeah.
And then watch Nightcrawler back to back.
Watch End of Watch, and then watch.
I haven't seen End of Watch.
You got. Oh my god.
Zodiac. Zodiac.
Just
Prisoners.
in terms of just Jake Gyllenhaal, though.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. Michael Pena's in it. I'm a huge Michael Pena fan. Huge. Ant-Man, he was an Ant-Man. Freaking out. It was the greatest.
And his scenes in Ant-Man were a lot of fun.
Oh, he's so funny in that movie. God, I love it. All right.
I wish Michael Pena was in Sicario.
He's got some new movie coming out that played at Sundance. That looks. It's him and Alexander Skarsgård, and it's some. Oh. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I apologize. But have you seen The Guard or Seven Psychopaths or have you seen In Bruges?
No. But I know this is where you're.
Okay. So it's by the same guy who did The Guard, but it's Michael Pena, and so it's going to be this awesome crime black comedy movie. Just hearing those things, I'm already super hyped about it. Sorry, Sicario. Let's go.
Yeah. No worries. So Denis Villeneuve did Sicario, and. Shot by Roger Deakins, so you're in good hands there.
Yeah. Won a lot of awards. Oh, wait.
Yeah. So, Sicario, it's interesting, you know. It starts off with, you know, you get a hit of action, and you're like, ooh, that's interesting. And you get a sense that Emily Blunt is someone who is good at her job, and at the same time, her job is a troubling thing. Her job is doing something that people shouldn't have to do.
Right.
Which is encountering bad people and hurting people and saving people. It's rough. It's rough. Like 5 minutes in, Victor Garber shows up. And I'm a pretty big Garb fan. I like Garber.
Canadian,
sure. Argo, yeah. So he does a really good job playing like authoritative figure.
Yes, he does.
Was an ambassador or whatever he was in Alias.
I was gonna drop Alias.
He does a good job there too. And then Emily Blunt gets rolled into things with Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, and it's not clear what exactly they're doing, and it's not clear exactly who they're doing it for.
Okay.
And so as the movie goes on, Emily Blunt's like, so what are we doing? And she gets a little bit of things figured out, but there's like bigger picture things. She's like, what? Like, what is this? Who are you? Like, what's the, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And they're doing things that are like, not illegal, but extra legal outside of legality. And, you know,
not illegal, but definitely not law abiding.
So it's an interesting movie about like, how much can you be coerced to do something? What are you willing to do?
Right. So
when do you say no?
It's not like the drug trade, is it?
Yeah,
it's like DEA stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about the border towns.
That's what
like
I thought.
it's about your Juarez, your El Paso.
Okay.
Which is like the stuff they shoot in Mexico. If it's even 10% right, is so crazy.
Well, I mean, even if you just look at like El Chapo and like stuff that happens down there, you're like, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stories there. There's a lot of things going on there.
I remember I saw online once, it was just in a forum, some guy was like, hey, so there's a big drug war happening in my city. And when I clicked on it, and he lived in a place, I think it's called Brownsville, Texas.
Okay.
So if you imagine the Texas-Mexico border, on the far east of it, which would be by the Gulf, there's Brownsville. There's Brownsville, and there's also a Mexican city. And even if you look at the borders and the cities, they're like, cities kind of go close together, even though there's, you know, it's America and Mexico. Mm-hmm. And they look totally different. Right. So like Mexico cities can like kind of splinter out, go further, that sort of thing. And so, you know, it was just about this guy who was like, yeah, there's a drug war in the city across from us.
Oh, okay.
But because it's our city, because there's border trade and things like that, it's crazy on our side too.
Yeah. That has, believe it or not, an impact over here.
Yeah.
Doesn't
so it's
just
great.
happen over there.
So the Mexico stuff and like the American Southwest stuff is really interesting. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's also got this just like the tension of the movie. Benicio del Toro is your whole time. You're like, what is his deal? He will do anything.
Yeah. Benicio del Toro is such a good wild card in movies because just as the man himself, you don't know what his motivations are. Like even if you're just having a conversation with Benicio del Toro, like I'm sure he's a very nice, charming man, but like he can play an off kilter, who knows what he's gonna do type guy without having seen this movie.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
Yeah,
and one of the part that might be craziest though is like he's a wild card you can't trust, but Josh Brolin's just like, no, he's good. Okay, like he vouches for him the whole time. It's almost scarier. They're like, well, why is he cool with this?
Yeah.
But he's cool with it the whole time. There's no questions in Josh Brolin's mind as to what is happening.
Yeah. Speaking of we talked about this on this podcast a while ago, but it's a movie we were just spitballing on, which was Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing a DEA agent and Javier Bardem playing like a cartel guy, and there were twin brothers separated at birth who like were on opposite sides of the Mexican cartel thing.
Is this a real movie?
Hearing this, what?
Is it a real movie?
No, this is us. We were talking.
Yeah.
But like, how good would that be?
You mean Benicio del Toro, not Javier Bardem?
No, I mean Javier Bardem, because Javier Bardem and Jeffrey Dean Morgan look exactly alike.
No. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan looks like Benicio. Oh wait,
it's Javier Bardem.
No
one looks like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. Sorry. But
it was the only thing that reminded me of that was the fact it was taking place in the in that Mexican cartel thing. So.
Yes,
but
exactly.
So Sicario's recommendation.
Oh yeah, one of the highest recommendations.
So we get a big Denis Villeneuve fan then out of you.
Yeah,
he's 2 for 2 in the movies you've seen.
Pretty much.
Has he done anything else?
He's done Enemy, which is another movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. where Jake Gyllenhaal has like a twin, like a secret twin, which I haven't seen, but it's also like, ooh, it came right between Prisoners and Sicario.
Right.
I was 13, 14, 15. I also like how prolific he is. He's doing one every year now. So keep at it, man.
What's Enemy at on like an IMDb scale? It's probably like a high 6s, low 7s.
Is that a good range for you? I'm just asking. He's 6.8.
Yeah. See, once you get into 7, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But like the 6.8, 6.9s, I'm like, I don't know, that could go either way.
It's almost good. It's almost better though when it's like a question.
Like a 6.9, which I watched part of this weekend. I probably watched like the first 3 quarters, and then I was just like, I don't know what's happening. So
yeah, that's fair.
I wasn't totally paying attention to it, and I think Christoph Waltz was literally in one scene up to that point. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. We'll talk about Spectre.
It's great.
Someone told me it's better than Skyfall, and it was the worst thing you could ever say to me. Because Skyfall is the greatest movie ever made.
Skyfall is really, really good.
Okay,
so it's a lot of fun.
I'm putting Sicario near the top of my list. Yeah. I like everyone involved. I had wanted to see it, and I've heard nothing but good things. Which you want to anytime you have to temper your expectations. Like if someone's like, "Oh man, Cronuts are insane," you're like, "Well, look, I've heard a lot of people go crazy about Cronuts. I will have to kind of ignore that and weigh it myself." Sicario is like a Cronut for me.
Yeah,
nothing but good things. But until I experience it, you want to go in fresh, but you can't. You have expectations. It's like when I saw American Sniper and people were like, it's very like kind of propaganda-y, and then I watched it and I was like, that is very propaganda-y.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder if I would have the same position had I not had that going in. So
it's funny. It's funny when I heard things about American Sniper, people said, "Oh, it's very propaganda," but I never heard them. I didn't know enough about the movie, and I hadn't heard what direction it was.
Yeah,
propaganda-wise. So I was kind of like, "Who is this? A Bernie movie or a Trump movie?"
It's a Trump movie.
It's a Trump. That's what I thought.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Yeah, I'm
not going to see it.
It's a Trump movie for sure. There are some things in that movie where besides a plastic baby, where you're just like, what?
The baby. Look up the baby online.
So distracting.
The baby is ridiculously distracting.
And it's little things like that. Like if you have your suspension of disbelief taken for even a second, it completely affects the rest of it. It's like the claws in Wolverine, where it looks like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Right.
Like in the deleted scene when Bob Hoskin turns into that pig face thing and then has to go pour turpentine on his face and watch it run down the sink. Like that's Wolverine.
Is it real? How is it? How do you know about a deleted scene from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Buddy, I know everything about Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
But come on, man.
Come on. I own it.
I know.
I own Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't mean to brag. I own.
Do you actually own it?
Things. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I think it was on Netflix a couple years ago.
Yes, I do. I see the rabbit. It's right beside Wall-E and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. I was like, wait a second. I thought it was alphabetical.
Man. Speaking of... That movie sucked.
What one?
The Johnny Depp one.
Oh, the Johnny Depp one.
Oh, my God. It was so bad.
So that came out like 2004, I think. The new one. So
I'll say between 2004 and 2006. Maybe 2006.
So either way, I was like fully like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Kind of in the Johnny Depp sweet spot.
And I really
liked Willy Wonka.
Yeah, we're both big fans of Willy Wonka.
It was okay, but I'm sure if I watched it now, I would have a hard time.
And it's supposed to be much truer to the actual novel.
That's so funny because as someone who was in grade 2 and read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and watched and loved the Gene Wilder movie from 1971, that's pretty close anyway. Like there's really very few differences.
Well, it's like, I don't know, like Roald Dahl, I think, or whoever. Roald Dahl? No.
Roald Dahl, he wrote that,
yeah. Okay. I get him and... Sometimes I get him and Shel Silverstein mixed up for no reason. One's a poet, one guy actually writes books.
Yeah.
Even though their names are nothing alike. But
Roald Dahl.
Shel Silverstein's like where the sidewalk ends.
Right.
Right?
And Roald Dahl wrote
James
the screenplay for You Only Live Twice.
Interesting.
It's very weird that he did that.
Shel Silverstein wrote Boy Named Sue and then a really creepy follow-up to Boy Named Sue. So, yeah, I don't think Roald Dahl was a big fan of Willy Wonka when it came out. And just like Stephen King wasn't a big fan of The Shining when it came out. He actually had like a made-for-TV movie remade in like 97. He's like, much better. And everyone was like,
what are you talking about, man?
It must be weird when you have that's my favorite horror movie of all time, The Shining. Nothing will ever beat that for me. Partially because it's not overly scary, so I can rewatch it.
You don't think it's overly scary?
It's very scary, but it's not as jump scary as some other like more modern movies are. The Strangers is actually a pretty good one too. Now that I think about it, there's some modern ones that are good, but not that I'd rewatch over and over again. The Shining is definitely up there.
Have you seen the original Poltergeist?
I have not.
See, I think that'd be interesting. That's one of those movies that came out
I haven't
before.
seen. Let's not get into the class. I hope Ian Hanlon doesn't listen to this because let's not get into the classic horror movies I have not seen. It's pretty bad. I haven't seen The Exorcist.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I could not do The Exorcist. I remember I read a detailed plot summary of The Exorcist and got scared.
Oh, okay.
Because I was trying to be like, okay, I'm interested. How far can I go? And I just read the whole thing, and I was like,
it's like reading a Stephen King. You're like, how scary can a book be? It's terrifying.
Oh,
Books
yeah.
can be terrifying. And so like you're like, I'm reading it, and you're just like, okay, I'm not turning the page obviously because I have to sleep. But
I know what's on the other side of that
which
page.
is why everyone, it's like anything. The book's so much better than the movie. It's because however you portray it in your mind's always going to be like that next level thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know how we get on this.
We're ping ponging around movies and
let's
horror
get to Zootopia.
Another horror movie.
I mean, the good thing about animated movies is you can it's not spoiler alerts aren't as necessary, but try to tiptoe around plot points.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's very little that I have to. So I want to tell you about the experience of seeing Zootopia. So
what was the aspect ratio they showed it in?
We were rocking a 16:9.
Okay,
kind of classic Disney. Make it look good on a TV. I actually don't know if that's true, but I think so. Probably.
I would agree with whatever you said.
Yeah. So it was available in 3D. So like everywhere. I think. Yeah, it sucks.
I hate 3D movies so much. They suck.
I know, and I think Park Lane had one 2D showing at like 12 noon yesterday, or not yesterday, Saturday, and I was like, ugh.
You want to whatever.
So we ended up going to Bears Lake, and we went at like an 8 o'clock show. And we went nice and early because I was like, 8 o'clock show. There's lots of 3D ones, but maybe we'll,
I don't think you have to show up early to movies anymore.
Here's the thing, though. We got there, walk in probably 25 minutes before the movie starts.
Yeah.
Theater's 2/3 full.
Really?
Yeah. It's actually it's
second
been
weekend too.
It's been a long time since I've been in a movie. I walked into a movie theater and been like, oh, okay. Like usually
Usually it's the opposite. Oh,
like
I'm
really
so
averse. Yeah, like seeing Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation with like 20 people at Dartmouth Crossing on opening day.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
Remind me, I have a funny story about a failed movie theater. So
sure.
Yeah.
So we go in, we sit like second row, so that was nice. And so like the crowd is mostly families, like little kids, and a few like middle-aged women who laugh and almost step on your feet with stiletto heels.
Ooh. Who wears stiletto heels to a movie theater?
The Debbie next to me, I'm sure was her name.
You're on that.
It was Debbie. At one point in the movie, there's a character who says like, you should just settle. We settled. He's talking about him and his wife, and then Debbie, the woman
Debbie.
I call Debbie, is like,
oh, Debbie.
She says, yeah, it's called marriage, and I was like, oh, Debbie,
quick.
Yes,
high five me, Debbie.
Preach it, Debbie.
It was like as bad as a girl in front of me in Trainwreck. Oh my god, this is so me. Oh my god,
this is so me.
Like everything, but not like, but just intermittently be like, oh, totally. Like
classic
Quippy just talking to herself with her. Oh my god, I totally do that all the time. Like, okay.
It's just me.
Debbie, at least give me a little extra something. It's called marriage. Debbie.
Oh, so good. And so two more things. I don't know why I'm saying two more things. We got time. The trailers before the movie are kids' movies, and I swear they're all like a minute long each.
Yeah.
Like, trailers were just like boom, 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 boom. They're making another Ice Age movie.
They've made another Ice Age movie, I'd say, if there's a trailer for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy to look at those DreamWorks movies. They call it a trilogy. You might be confusing Madagascar.
No, I'm not. There's Ice Age 2.
Continental Drift?
No. There's Age of the Dawn of the... Oh, okay. Here, you
look it up if you want.
Tell me about more trailers, and I'm going to look up how many Ice Age movies.
It's one of those things where watching the movie...
Ray Romano, is that how I find this out?
I think that's the way you do it. Even watching the trailer for it, and then seeing like a trailer for Finding Dory, the level, like the difference in quality is shocking. Like, it's really crazy how much Disney and Pixar, especially Disney now that they've had a few years of Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, what was last? Oh, Big Hero 6. Like they're really just they're hitting a good line.
Frozen.
Yeah,
Frozen. Oh, did you?
I think I started.
I've watched Frozen probably 7 times in the last 2 months because my friend's child is now like of the age.
A huge frohead.
Even at the very beginning when she's making Olaf at the beginning, she'll just be like, oh, and you're just like, yeah, like when kids recognize things, it's incredible. It's the funniest thing. You're just like, that's amazing. You know what things are.
Well, just in the quick opposite spectrum of that story. My wife gave our niece like a little quiet book. Like she made a book over the last year or so with different things.
It took a long time to make.
It took some time.
Yeah.
And so on one page, it's kind of like a swamp area. So it's like there's like a frog whose tongue you can play with, and there's like a thatched beaver dam that you can kind of braid and take it apart.
Okay.
And so when they sent my in-laws, my brother and sister-in-law sent me a video of her opening it and looking through it, which is great. It's like 4 minutes. You get to experience it with them. And so when she gets to the page with the beaver dam on it, she pulls it. They go, oh, what's this in here? And so she opens the beaver dam, looks at it, and she goes, oh, dog.
Oh, God.
Because she doesn't know what a beaver is. Because she's 2.5. Why would she know what a beaver is?
Yeah, it's true. She's 2.5. She lives in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Has no idea what a beaver is.
She doesn't live in Swift Current.
She lives in
somewhere else,
Saskatchewan.
But it's just one of the things where she's just like, oh, dog.
Yeah.
Because she's just like,
totally.
Oh, small furry thing.
Small thing with the tail, not a cat. Obviously, it's a dog. It's just
I adored that.
Yeah. Dog.
Did you find out how many Ice Age movies there were?
This will be the 5th. There's Ice Age.
They called it a trilogy in the movie theater. They call it a trilogy, which I think means trilogy. What are you doing to me?
So there's Ice Age.
Yep.
Regular.
Yep.
And then everything else has a colon. So Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Got it.
So that's 02, 06, and 09.
And then
respectively.
Continental Drift,
then
right?
Continental Drift. So that's the 4th.
Yeah.
It's really hard looking at Ray Morano's thing because there's like 90 things that start with Ice Age. But it's like A Mammoth Christmas, Ice Age Village. These are all not real movies. Ice Age.
He's probably got the Schwimmer money now.
Yeah, Ice Age Collision Course. So, okay, this has to do with the Jay-Z
Linkin
Park mashup.
Yeah,
which is
definitely.
He's in vinyl. Good for him.
Yeah,
he's like Ray Romano doing things.
He was in Parenthood, which my wife watched, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah,
it's kind of like a dramatic. Like, doesn't he date Lauren Graham in it type thing? Or
yes,
something?
He does.
Yeah, okay.
And he finds out he's autistic.
Ooh, he's good at art. What did you say?
Autistic.
Oh, sorry.
It's one of those things that I was like, can you do that? Can you just
find out all of a sudden?
Can you just pretend?
Well, there's a scale, right? So you'd have to be very
right.
A
spectrum, I think.
Sorry, spectrum. A specter. Yeah,
okay, I got one more story from Zootopia.
Oh yeah, we haven't got into the.
That's okay. Zootopia's a good movie, and so shortly into my wife only told me this afterwards. There's a boy who's sitting next to her with his mom. Boy's like probably 3, we'll say. And so we're watching the movie, and they're talking about Zootopia, this city where all the mammals and everybody they live together in harmony. Zootopia. And so at one point, the little boy turns to
what the F is it?
No. At one point, the boy turns to his mom and says. He says, boy turns to his mom and says, "What is this Zootopia doing?"
What?
He says, "What is this Zootopia doing?"
Like the movie? What was he referring to?
I don't know if he thought Zootopia was the character.
Oh yeah. What is the Zootopia doing? That makes no sense.
It's like
that
watching
very
the movie.
Off-brand for the Zootopia. Like,
what does the mom say there? I don't know.
Mom goes, what a waste at $14 to get my kid into this theater. Not understanding a second of it. Raising a moron over here. What is the Zootopia doing?
It's funny to watch Zootopia because I read an article 3 weeks ago.
Is it Jennifer Goodwin?
Here's the thing. The movie was designed up until a year and a half ago for it to be Jason Bateman. But then people watch the movie and they say, I don't identify with the Jason Bateman character. I identify with Jennifer Goodwin's character, Judy Hopps.
Yeah.
So they changed the movie. They just say, okay, she's the main character now. A year and a half out in an animated movie. Which is crazy.
Seems like a lot. Sounds like a lot of work.
I know.
That must suck when you show the screenings. You're like, it's great, but you got to change all of it.
You got to change all of it.
Great.
Yeah. So it's a really
with a fox. I identify with the bunny.
With the bunny
spy cop thing agent.
So it's an interesting thing they do in the movie because both the bunny is distrustful of foxes, and the fox is distrustful of people who think he's just, a predator.
But there are no people.
Sorry, people being animals, I guess. Yeah, Alex, blowing my mind. And so they do a good job. So a lot of the movie's just about prejudice, stereotype, but they don't, because they're animals. There's no the bunny isn't it's not sitting in for black people because they both kind of take their turns being victims in situations.
Okay, yeah. I almost made a horrible joke, which I will never do. Don't.
Please. I'll see you later. You have to tell me.
Yeah.
But it's funny. There's a part where the bunny is a cop, and she gets to the police department for the first time, and he goes, and someone goes, "Oh, cop bunny, you're so cute." And she's like, "Actually, to call a bunny cute is we can call each other cute, but when you say it, it's kind of." They actually do that. Wow. They actually do that. Yeah. So there's a part.
Not our word. It's our word.
Yeah. More or less. So they do a
more or less moral less without morals.
So it's a lot of fun.
Recommendation.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I would say go see it. Something there's the mayor is a line played by J.K. Simmons, and his
what percentage of the movie has sloths in it?
So the sloth trailer, there's the scene's longer.
Okay.
In the movie.
That's so good.
So I mean, it's a little bit more. It's good. This is a good sloth into the movie.
Shown that to 10 people.
The sloth trailer for that, Emily was like, "Oh, I kind of wish I didn't see it because it's so incredible in the movie." I was like, "Yeah." But I mean, as a promotional thing, the minute I saw that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this movie's happening."
It's before Star Wars, and I was just like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life."
It's incredible.
It's so good.
So it's good. So J.K. Simmons is in it as a lion.
They're gonna get their Penguins of Madagascar offshoot. I guarantee it. Just sloth.
Oh, I would not be shocked at all. And then his deputy mayor is a sheep played by Jenny Slate.
Oh,
which is actually a lot of fun, and because it's one of those movies where you're watching it and you're like, I kind of like that sheep. What is that voice? What am I hearing? Because it's very Jenny Slate, a little bit of that, I don't know, her vocal take. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So I actually really, really enjoyed that. But I mean, with these Disney animated movies now too, they're doing the thing with Pixar where every movie looks better than the movie before it.
Yeah,
the movies look great.
Well, you and I have read Creativity Inc., and you kind of learn about how Pixar and Disney came together, and it's harder and harder to tell them apart now because they're so good. But they're very prolific now because they have the two studios running off the same kind of quality, and it's almost too much.
And it's my man JL, John Lasseter is the guy.
Yeah, John Lasseter.
It's what you get when you get a visionary who knows what's going on, who you let do his thing. And who is just really good at it. Well,
he's so good that you can almost forgive him for Cars 2. You can't, but you can almost.
He's the guy that if he when he leaves, because he's not going to live forever. Disney or Pixar, it's going to be one of those things ooh, is he the heart that keeps it going?
Yeah, and probably,
and he is. So, Zootopia, check it out. The ending, it's one of those things it's not a movie that's too long.
Okay. Most animated movies aren't. Until Judd Apatow directs an animated movie, I think they're all going to stay under an hour 40.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching the movie, and there's a part where I'm like, okay, this seems like it could be the ending, but it also feels like I've only been here for an hour and 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's more. Mm-hmm. And there was.
Okay.
Oh, one last thing about the movie. There's a pop star in the movie named Gazelle. Mm-hmm. One named Gazelle, which I thought was going to be Adele.
No,
it's not. It's Shakira. Bunkin. I know. It's Shakira. Oh. I know. And I said after the movie, I was like, she should have been a goat.
You look like a movie. Should have been a goat.
She sounds like a goat. She's a goat. Yeah, she's a goat. But she has a song at the end, and it's pretty good. I was singing all the way home. So Shakira, not too bad. But Zootopia, check it out.
I will check it out.
I hope it's Zootopia 2. I don't know what you would call a sloths movie about. I mean, you could watch a movie about the sloths. It would be too slow.
You could. That'd be amazing.
The script for that movie would be 40 pages, and it would be an hour and 20. It would be an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, something I actually really enjoyed about it. Priscilla the Sloth is played by Kristen Bell.
Okay.
Who's in Frozen and is also known as freaking out about sloths on The Ellen Show.
Yes.
So she gets to play one. She's a sloth.
Yes. At one point in her relationship with Dax Shepard, he got her a sloth to come to her house.
Yes.
And she was basically inconsolable with happiness, is how I would describe it. Like, just bawling her eyes out. Not seeing the sloth. I don't even think there was one. I can't remember.
She does get to see it, but like even telling the story about a time when she saw it.
Yeah.
And I think Ellen brings a sloth out, and of course everything.
But Dax Shepard did he? I can't remember.
I think he took her to one or something.
Okay. I mean, it might have been. I couldn't remember, but yeah, inconsolable at the prospect of seeing. It's like someone being like, "You're going to meet Tom Brady, or Chris Hogan," and. Equal reaction to that. So
yeah, you're gonna meet TB12. No bigs.
Yeah. So okay, Zootopia. So that's two.
Check it out.
One to avoid. X-Men Origins. I always say oranges. X-Men Oranges. X-Men Clementines. Don't watch that. But speaking of what you said about Zootopia, you're like, I feel this could be the ending, but there's probably more. There's about 17 endings to Wolverine Origins. I give up. Wolverine.
X-Men Origins.
X-Men Oranges. Not apples. Don't compare us to apples.
Judd Apatow. X-Men Oranges.
Judd Apatow. We got, I can go another couple here. If you.
The one thing I will say about Zootopia, it didn't end with Walk of Life by Dire Straits, which I thought was lacking. So I sent Alex and Will a link, and I really highly recommend it to you. It's this guy. It's called the Walk of Life Project. Alex is laughing, right? Alex is almost doing a Kristen Bell version of it. He's almost reacting. Yeah. So Walk of Life, which I read an article before I watched any of the videos, and I was like, I can't place what this movie is, what the song is. So let me see if I can do it for you here. Do 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 do. So added to any so they take things like the end of Chinatown, and they just add it on the end, and it just seemed like every movie ends with all right, everyone's gonna be okay.
Like Mad Max Fury Road,
like Mad Max Fury Road with the water's coming down after they return.
What really annoys me with that is the song is amazing, but you see 50 people holding receptacles up to catch water in. Some people have buckets. One guy just has a pan, and you're you're not going to catch anything.
You're going to get no water with that
pan, you idiot.
So Walk of Life is added to the end of Dark Knight Rises. Just seems so much like
No Country for Old Men, and then I woke up.
It's done really well.
So good.
I urge you to go find it. If you just look Walk of Life in YouTube or Walk of Life movie, you'll find that it is. There's dozens of movies. There's one for Zodiac, which I was shocked at but enjoyed.
I'm trying to think of Zodiac ends. Zodiac, some of those procedural movies were just kind of and there's not really an ending, so we just end the movie here. Obviously, you understand.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's not going to quarter him in an alley and be like.
You're not gonna. The worst thing you could do to Zodiac is flash forward 20 years and see Jake Gyllenhaal still going at it. You're like, nah, just end it now.
Yeah, please.
I might watch No Country for Old Men tonight because it was my birthday. I need you to try to watch that once a year. And that's my favorite.
You should do it. I have never seen it. I definitely need to. It's one of those movies that I'm desperate. I do really want to see, and I know very little of. I think Alex is leaving. He might leave the podcast over this. He just showed his displeasure.
I'll lend it to you.
Please, please, I'd love to. It's one of those movies too where I know so little. Javier Bardem has a cattle prod. Tommy Lee Jones is in it. Probably doesn't end well. That's all I know.
He does.
I don't know why.
Have a cattle prod.
No, what is it?
Well, cattle prod is like a taser for cows.
Yeah.
This is something different.
Okay, that's all you'll say.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's all I will say. So I'll just get into 10 Cloverfield Lane. I really want to see. By the way, we didn't really talk about that much.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to see that next week.
What disappoints me about it is something I read, which is it wasn't originally written as a piece of the Cloverfield.
I saw that too.
Canon.
Interesting.
So it's like Ocean's 12. The two that come to mind to me are Ocean's 12 and Die Hard 4. The Free or Die Hard were both just scripts. They were both just scripts that had nothing to do with the movies they became to be. And someone was like, let's just put John McClane in this. Or let's just make this. It's a heist movie. What's George Clooney up to? We'll just do that. We'll just say Julia Roberts. So those are examples of obviously where it works out really poorly because those are bad movies.
Right.
So this one has been getting really good press. I love the way they just kind of like Kendrick Lamar it. They're like, oh yeah, here's a movie. Enjoy that.
Yeah, did a really good job of that.
So I'm excited to see that. One thing I'll talk about if we're done talking about movies is my experience with Moksha Yoga. It's not even really going to be that exciting, but I signed up for a 2-month pass for like yoga like a month and a half ago. Haven't gone, but it was a thing I bought, so it won't come into action until I actually use it. So it's not like I wasted time. It just took me a while to actually activate it. It's like, all right. So my buddy Ross, who I know, he's like, hey, come to yoga on Saturday. We're going to go to yoga. I was like, okay. So I actually went to the gym in the morning and worked out. And I thought my workout was at 10 a.m., but it was at 11 a.m., which ended at 12. And then yoga was at 1. So I literally had to run home, shower, like shove a protein bar on my face, and run back out because I had to get to yoga early to get my account set up.
Oh, boy.
So I go in there. I'm like, okay, Moksha Yoga, let's do this. I don't know what it is. It's just a yoga place. But you have to – if you're doing yoga, there's like Ashanti is a singer. Shanti Yoga, Bikram Yoga, and Moksha Yoga.
Okay.
Which one of those is hot yoga. I won't tell you which one. So I get to Moksha Yoga. The guy like gets me signed up. It's kind of like weird to like leave your shoes in the corner. I'm like, all right, already not liking this because it's just like an open foyer. It's just like the reception area of anything. It's like
right.
So you're like, okay, there's just a bunch of shoes there. There's a locker room, but there's no lockers in it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not really. You have to bring your own yoga mat, which like they had. So he gets me signed up. He's like, cool, okay, so you're in the 1 o'clock class. It's just over there in the orange room. And he's like, oh, by the way, when you get in there, it's a silent room, so don't talk. And I was just kind of like, that was kind of a weird drop at the end where I was just like I was meeting my friend and his wife there. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure if they're in here. Maybe they're here, maybe they're not.
I guess that's what this is now.
It's like someone being like setting you up with their friend and being like just before the date, like, oh, by the way, she's a deaf mute, so you're gonna have to. You're just like, oh,
you're gonna have to trace all your questions on her hand, and hopefully she'll kind of figure it out.
So I walk into the thing, and it's like silence beyond this area, and there's 2 doors. I'm like, oh god. I don't even know what room it's in. So I like go back out. Like it's in the Brazil room. I walk into the Brazil room. There's just 30 people laying on mats. Like just laying there. So I immediately exit the Brazil room. It's like, oh, I've walked into something I shouldn't have. It seems like the other thing. We're like, oh, sorry.
Private nap time. Oh no.
So I like waited out there and I was like, okay, maybe they just like chill there beforehand. So I went back in, and my buddy pokes his head up. I'm like, okay, this is the right room. Everyone just lays on the mat. Like, it's called a pose, but you just lay on your back. Immediately, I'm aware that it is hot yoga. Moksha Yoga is the hot yoga.
Oh.
So it is probably 40 degrees in the room. Like, I'm laying on my mat sweating before we've even done anything.
Oh, my God.
And then, so you just lay there in silence. So then the lady comes in and she's just like, all right, we're gonna, so you just like, and I've done yoga before, but not in a class ever. So she kind of like takes you through poses, but everything she says takes you like a half second to register. She'd be like, okay, everyone, take your right hand, grab your left instep, twist it behind over your hip, and you're like, wait. So you're like, you're not supposed to look at, you can't talk. You can't be like, I have questions about what's that, and you can't like, you're supposed to keep your eyes forward because it's yoga class. People are like wearing mostly nothing. So you're just kind of like, yeah. So you're just kind of like, I'm trying to look at my buddy Ross.
As a respect thing, you're trying to do that instead of checking people out.
Oh, by the way, when I walked in the room, I put my mat down and it made this like big loud crack. And I was just like, oh. Ross was just like, really? I'm like, sorry. So coming right from a gym class was really stupid because my legs were busted and we're like down in lunges and I just like was dying, sweating, like literally dripping. Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch where he's sweating? She's like asked about his internet history and he just keeps sweating. So you've probably seen the gif of it. That's me, the whole class, the whole class. So like 20 minutes in, Ross beside me, he just pulls this towel over his thing because you're trying to like sit on the mat and like you're sliding and stuff like. So he puts a towel over. I'm like, was not told about the towel
not told to bring
thing.
A towel.
Yeah, so I kind of gutted my way through it. It was really hot in there, and then you're laying at the end, And so you're laying there, and I have my eyes closed at the end, and then I open them for a split second, and I open them to see this woman coming over top me, like with a towel. So she put this wet towel on my face, but like I opened my eyes at the exact wrong because it's like, oh jeez. So like they don't tell you anything, and then I'm laying there with the towel on my face, and then all of a sudden someone comes by and like throws 2 cold towels on my feet, and I'm like, ugh. Like it's super weird, and then you like have to like roll out. You can't make any noise until you leave. It's really, really
It sounds so cultish. It's hilarious.
Soaking wet.
Oh, soaked to you.
Oh my god! Yeah. Like I came home to shower and was just like, it was like I swam in my t-shirt.
Yeah,
yeah. It's
you're
like,
you're like peeling it off of you.
Oh man, it was interesting. I'll go back because I have a 2-month membership. It's good, but some poses I was just like, I don't know what's happening at all. And then other ones I was like, okay, I think I'm doing it. And then she'd like come over and be like, no, maybe you should. But they don't tell you. Like the only way you can learn is if you've been there. It's like everyone's been there before, and you're the one person who's just like, oh, okay.
Someone should have
How
probably
does
filled
everyone
you
know what they're
better.
doing right now? And I don't know.
Yeah.
It was an interesting experience. Going after my workout on Saturday morning was really dumb. And forgetting what time my workout was and then having to run back and forth between the two was also super dumb. So we'll see. I'll have to go back with the towel and maybe the second time will be a lot better because I'll know exactly what to do. Like I'll be like, okay, now I know that the room is silent. Now that I know where to, like, I get it now. But the first time walking in, there's like 30 people who are already there. You're just like, oh boy. Oh boy. So, yeah. A little awkward. A little awkward.
Yeah,
like anything.
Exactly. Yeah,
Check it out, Moksha Yoga. Really,
check it out, Moksha Yoga.
Warm in there.
Thank you for joining us on our 99.6%, or not percent, 99.6 episode of the Triple Threat Podcast.
Not
next
the
week,
100th, whatever it says.
Probably the 100th, maybe the 100th.
Yeah, I'll try and get a quiz.
Alex quiz
announced that on the show. I'll try and put a quiz together of some sort. Won't have anything to do with past episodes or anything. Like, who said this?
Oh my gosh.
And they always have that challenge in Big Brother, like who got voted out week 3 or who was a have-not in week 3. Like, I don't know. God, the show's done. All right, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
no worries.
We'll have a huge 6-hour-long podcast next week.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this was no slouch, and you know, it's Alex's birthday, but you all got a gift.
Yeah,
what's amazing? Yeah. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
You'll hear us next week. We won't actually see anybody.
I'm gonna try to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
What is the Zootopia doing?